Welcome, I'm Eric with Vast Strength. In this video, I'm going to be doing a review and discussion of the REP Adjustable Kettlebells. As you can probably deduce from the title of this video and the opening clip, it's not going to be a positive one. So I do have a number of serious concerns about the REP Adjustable Kettlebells, and my experience was definitely a negative one in regards to the function of the actual equipment, although my interaction with the company or manufacturer or retailer, whatever you'd like to say, REP was quite good, and I have no complaints in that regard. With the REP Adjustable Kettlebells, to give you some background, I was looking to try some kettlebell activities, and so an adjustable kettlebell was very appealing to me. So I ordered the 24 kilogram one, and I received it in, shall we say, somewhat poor condition. I don't blame REP for this. It did seem to be reasonably packaged, so I blame the carrier. Regardless, I was able to inspect the kettlebell right there on the foyer, right next to the front door. It had some dings and it looked kind of dirty. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought maybe it was even used. I don't claim that to be the case, but that was its overall appearance. I immediately tested the kettlebell, not just because I was worried whether it would work. I actually wasn't that concerned about that, but I was more just excited to see how it worked and to, kind of be able to get it into the gym. Unfortunately, I immediately encountered the fact that it was not working appropriately, as you could see in that first clip. So the tabs on the kettlebell were not disengaging as they were supposed to, and because of that, the plates were sometimes getting hung up on the inside of the kettlebell in a manner in which they are not supposed to, and increases the risk of obviously them coming out at an inopportune time and injuring myself or my house or my equipment. So I contacted REP. They immediately, or at least in a reasonable span of time, responded and sent a replacement kettlebell. I received the replacement kettlebell in good condition in regards to the packaging, so no issues there. As you might imagine, I did immediately test this kettlebell as I was concerned about the original mechanism of failure. Upon testing the kettlebell, initially I didn't have any issues, and I gave it quite a once over. In the meantime, after testing it, I had it here in my home gym setup, which is in a ground level room in my house, so it's climate controlled. And so I was here, and sometime in the first couple weeks, I was able to get my first workout in with it. I did go outside for that workout, but it was not exposed to the elements or anything, or any significant dirt or dust or anything along those lines. With that first workout, I actually didn't disengage the plates as I was working out with it at the full 24 kilograms. So I didn't need to test the mechanism, so to speak. So for my second workout, which I did inside that time, and again had been stored inside the whole time, in the interim, it failed by, again, the same mechanism. Now, the second kettlebell, the replacement kettlebell, oddly enough, not only fails at the same level as the first kettlebell, which is at the very bottom of the hub, where the tabs are supposed to recess into the hub, but also failed and fails more commonly at the topmost tab in the hub. So what would keep the plate on the upper level of the inner portion of the kettlebell. If none of this is making sense, don't worry, I'm going to cover all this here in a couple minutes, but I just kind of wanted to walk you through what I'd been experiencing and kind of the genesis of this video. Let's go ahead and get into the mechanics of the kettlebells. How does it work? How did these fail? And then we'll come back to kind of my final thoughts on these adjustable kettlebells. Here I would like to demonstrate the normal use of a REP adjustable kettlebell. You see that you take the knob on top and depress the area around the handle, and then turn the knob anywhere from 24 down to 16 kilograms in intervals of 2 kilograms. This demonstrates the proper way for the tabs to disengage and to recess back into the hub. Here's one of the weights from the internal aspect of the adjustable kettlebell. You can see that there is a small metal lip that surrounds the opening for the hub, and this is where the tabs engage the weight, keeping it into place. You can see a video of the inside aspect of the kettlebell, but with the weights removed. At the beginning of this video, it represents the way the tabs would look when all of the weight is kept inside of the kettlebell. When you turn the lever, you can see that the tabs recessed back into the hub, or were supposed to, but as you can see at the very top and bottom of the hub, there are tabs that did not completely recess into the hub itself, which would have the potential to keep the weights from disengaging from the kettlebell as expected. Again, as you can see here, the tabs are not completely recessing into the hub as they are designed to do. This clip demonstrates the original kettlebell through demonstration of its function. This would represent the second kettlebell in the images and videos I just showed you. You can see here it did not disengage, but now it does when it's brought down a second time. We go back up to the full weight. We then again go down all the way to 16 kilograms, and we're going to see that this time when we bring up the weight, it disengages the plates as it is supposed to. We turn back again to the full weight of 24 kilograms. And as we turn back down to the weight all the way down of 16 kilograms and we pull up, we see that obviously the plates do not disengage until we put a little bit of jiggling and eventually the weights drop to the floor. This is the replacement kettlebell I received. In this clip, you can see that when going from the full weight to the 16 kilogram weight, that the 2 kilogram weight at the top does not disengage until, again, with a little bit of jiggling, it does fall to the ground. Hopefully, after watching that, you have an idea of the mechanism for how these work, and also have a pretty good idea as to how the ones that I received failed. I imagine that you can understand why I'm a little bit bothered with the safety profile of these. It is definitely possible that I am the 1 in a million person that received a dysfunctional, malfunctioning one. So essentially got hit by lightning twice. That's possible. There can be statistical outliers. There have been people who've won the lottery twice in the world. Well, there ain't very many. So I'd be kind of surprised that I'm the only person in the world that has experienced this, but maybe that's the case. Even if that is the case, I would still exercise caution if you do have these. One of my concerns with this mechanism of failure in particular is that the kettlebells largely could be functioning completely normally for a period of time and then suddenly may not be functioning normally. I think it's reasonable to contend that if when you pull up the weight that you realize that the proper amount of plates have not disengaged, then you should avoid the potential of an injury or something happening in to your wall or to your equipment, etc. My concern for my own gym would be that even if I know the mechanism of failure and what can go wrong, am I always going to remember that? And if someone else in my gym picks up the kettlebell, do they know that? And will they remember that? So I definitely don't want to have that kind of stress in my home gym, and that's why I would never own these adjustable kettlebells. 2 Reps credit, I thought they responded very appropriately. They refunded the money, and no problem did they give me any grief about anything. I hope that people don't think I'm a rep hater. As you might notice, I have the Aries 2 behind me on a rep rack with these rep kettlebells sitting on a rep block as I sit on a rep bench. So I don't think there's any lack of my enjoyment of the rep equipment. I think they do a good job. I just think this is a bad product. I think it's kind of a poor design. And again, I just can't recommend it. So take that for what you will. But as always, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and get strong, be smart, stay safe, especially if you're using these adjustable kettlebells. Thanks for watching.